Okay, please hold for Dave Sim, March 2026. And I'm recording this on, what's today? February 26th, 2026. So we're doing better on the lead time. Always room for improvement there, but we're doing better on the lead time. Okay, having read through all for all 40 pages. I'm going to ask you, Matt, to kick off. Please hold for Dave Sim and read. How many pages is it here? 36. I've got 36. 35 would be included. Uh, Oh, okay, yes. If you can read your comments, starting with so the project I didn't include in the list at the beginning, the 1982 tour book, and if you can read your comments, pages 35 through 40, it's going to make answering the earlier questions um, that you have as the beginning of Please Hold for Dave Sim. I, it, a lot will be explained if I just address the whole tour book 1982 situation. So Manly Matt Dow, you're on pages 35 through 40.
So the project I didn't include in the list at the beginning, the 1980 tour book. When I got your letter to April about being irritated about the tour book, I have to admit I became irritated. While on the one hand, I can appreciate where you're coming from, on the other hand, 2 years? 2 years? At an hour a week? So 104 hours to look over the book? Seriously? Come on, Dave, there's not that much to look over. And couldn't you put in one 16-hour day looking over the prototype and record notes of what you want changed/corrected and then skip the next 15 weeks? I mean, I doubt I've even put in 104 hours helping Dagan assemble stuff. Pages 116 to 204 are vintage interviews. You're not going to try and proofread those, are you? I understand the Joe Rubenstein photo credit being, quote, wrong, unquote. But according to the tour diary, Mr. Rubenstein showed up at the first store of the day, Westside Comics. You and Denny and Mr. Rubenstein then went to lunch, and after that went to Comic Art Gallery, pages 35 and 36 of the prototype tour book. So shouldn't the photo in question be Westside Comics? But photo credits being, quote, wrong, or capital W, wrong, is understandable since, as far as I know, you didn't provide any. Unlike all the non-82 tour photos you would Raleigh scan and send me, which I affectionately refer to as the AV photo album. AV family photo album. As an example, Dagan asked Margaret and I if we could identify the guy you were talking to in the Marvel bullpen, printed on page 45. I did a little detective work and figured out it was most likely Denny O'Neil. Dagan also asked who the guys of the Drawing Birds were, page 42. Margaret posted that one in a Marvel in the 80s Facebook group, and Howard Mackey came back with the printed photo credit, which is a long way of saying, hey man, if you didn't tell us, we didn't know. I can see why you'd be irritated that you only had a short window before the Kickstarter was supposed to launch, but Aardvark Vanheim's quick Kickstarter turnaround, which is greatly appreciated by all his backers, is very much the exception, not the rule, when it comes to Kickstarter. I'm still waiting on my copy of that My Nervous Breakdown book Lee Thacker drew. The writer has sent out 2 or 3 updates with, if you're missing your book, send me a message, to which I always do, and still I wait. So if the Kickstarter launched and ran for a month, it's not like the final cutoff for notes would be right then. There'd be time to make sure all the T's were dotted and all the I's were crossed. And while the extra information of just who was in that photo is neat, it's not like the book is unintelligible without it. I don't know. It's just a tad disappointing that this tome that I've been helping to midwife isn't going to be offered for a longer time. Although it does give me time to try and track down where the tour was announced, since Diana Schutz mentions that she helped get her star on the tour after hearing the announcement, which implies the tour was announced somewhere. I'm hoping in the pages of service. And besides, AV is going to make some money on this thing, so the sooner the better, no? I'm hoping that you're not limiting your time on this project to an hour a week because you want to, quote, correct Denny's contributions. As somebody whose parents split up around 40 years ago, I'm well acquainted with the concept that there are three sides to every story: your side, their side, and the truth. Many a time have I mentioned to one parent something the other one said and gotten a, oh, he/she is so full of shit. I mean, when I got to Denny's account of the dinner with Harlan Ellison in her introduction, I went and got my copy of Service number 292 or 295. I can remember which one it is. And scanned and sent Dagan your version of the same story. I believe he used half of it in the book. I don't know why I left out the other half. It's in the middle of the book by then. Nobody's going to be thinking about Denny's version by then. Which is a long-winded way of saying, the point is moot, Solly. Yeah, Solly, the point is moot. And speaking of misattributed photos in the AV family photo album, you said in your note that this photo was photo by Bill Sinkovich, Chicago Comic Con 1981, but this photo of you and Richard Pini and another guy that I forget from San Diego Comic Con, which was a week later, would mean that you somehow lost 30 pounds and sprouted hair like a werewolf. My guess, based on the sketch of you by Bill that appeared in Service number 65, where you're drawn in the same outfit as the Polaroid, you meant 1984, not 1981. And also, you had these two photos in a collection labeled No Idea. They look like the same guy in the same outfit, minus the sweater vest. In the original of the photo on the right, you can see the comics rack, and the new issues include Seduction of the Innocent from Eclipse Comics number 1 and Squadron Supreme number 6. Both of those came out in October of 1985. Marvel.com says Squadron Supreme number 6 was published October 22nd, 1985. Plus, in the upper part of that photo is a black costume Spider-Man logo above the partial logo of Walden Books. So this is in a mall. Where did you do a signing in a mall in late October, early November 1985? Moondance Comics. You can see the black costume Spider-Man logo above your head, and the Hey Kids New Stuff sign above the two guys in the center of this photo is in the right-hand photo of the unknown guy. So next time you waltz through the AV family photos, you might want to move the two No Idea photos in with the rest of the Moondance one, and update your note on that Polaroid. Okay, 40 pages is 30 pages too many, but I had to have my say. Hope this fox finds you well. Manly Matt Dow.
Okay, so the 1982 tour book goes back way back to the beginning of the professional relationship with Waverly Press. Excuse me, where I had gotten in the book of a specific photographer of all of his Jimi Hendrix photos. And I looked at that and went, that's really good. That's a classy, self-contained volume covering its subject, and again, the emphasis being on classy. What I picture in my mind when I picture a classy book. So that was the goal in setting things up with Waverly Press. That got waylaid in a hurry into let's do the remastered High Society, and it's like, no, I don't want to do the remastered High Society. I want to do a classy, small, self-contained book like your Jimi Hendrix book, but to have it about Cerebus, something having to do with Cerebus and my work We'll pick something that's small and self-contained, like this photographer's Jimi Hendrix photos, and we'll just do a really classy book. And instead of all of the stuff that I've got in the off White House that's done about Dave Sim and featuring Dave Sim, which I would describe as kitschy. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Um, Most people like kitschy, and certainly most comic book fans like kitschy. Um, but that wasn't my goal with Waverly Press. It was, instead of everything that I've got that's got Cerebus and Dave Sim in it being kitschy, is there let's put together one classy project, and it'll be something you could show to a civilian and they go, wow, that's a really classy book. It's not a subject I would be interested in, but that's a very classy looking book. I would be pleased to have that on my bookshelf or on my coffee table. Uh, so having worked through with Waverly Press, I think we were public on this before, but if we weren't, Dagan and I had both come to the conclusion that we just weren't on the same page, and it was, the situation with Waverly Press isn't working out for Dave Sim the way Dave Sim pictured it. So given that we're just at loggerheads, nothing to be done about it. Uh, it was my idea, one of my ideas, to do the 1982 tour book, and Dagan's idea to say, well, okay, if we're not going to do stuff together anymore, let's go out on a high note and let's do the 1982 tour book. Whereupon he started working on it. Okay, so that got into problems because I was always saying, okay, when you get a rough version of the book, here's the 1982 tour book per se, but it's not all mapped out. It's not final production. I'm not going to be emphasizing design. This is just contents. Here, this is what the contents are going to be. It's and this was ongoing. This was okay. Just whatever the 1982 tour book as you conceive it consists of. Um, Put that together. Send the digital files to Alfonso at Studio Comics Press. He'll print them out for me, and I can be following along on what you're doing, and I can make suggestions as you go. Uh, and it was always um, okay. The book is finished. Except for some stuff isn't done, but the book is finished, and it's like, well, okay, if the book is finished, please send the digital files to Studio Comics Press, and they'll print them out for me, and I can take a look at it. And it's like, then I wouldn't hear from him for like 3 or 4 months, and then he would say, okay, the 1982 tour book is pretty much finished. Um, but I've done some design changes, blah 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 blah, and it's like, okay, I understand that. You said that last time. You said that 4 months ago. Please email me what you have, and I will take a look at it, and see where we are, because this is a we book. And then it was okay. Denny's writing the introduction, and it's like, uh, okay, did you have the introduction from Denny the last 2 times that you told me that the book is done? And if the book is done, including Denny's introduction, why am I not getting all of that so that I can look at the book and approve it or disapprove of it? So this was ongoing and ongoing and ongoing for a couple of years. at least. And as I was saying to Rolly, you know, I like to be an optimist, so it's very, very possible that what he's put together is exactly what I was picturing in my mind, and it will come in, and I'll just read through it and go, "This is brilliant. This is just wonderful. This is exactly what I was talking about right from the very beginning with Waverly Press. We finally have the small, classy book that I was interested in about an ephemeral aspect of the whole Cerebus project." Uh, but as I said to Rolly, the odds of that are very, very slim. And I have to face that. So it's a matter of, well, okay, in that case, there's a very, very remote possibility, getting hit by lightning remote possibility, that this absolutely perfect book is going to come in. And, I'm just going to go, all right, run that baby. Uh, or I'm going to get in something where I go, all right, this is so far away from the small, classy book that I was talking about that I can't, no, it's going to take a lot of work to get this done. Um, because I haven't seen this before, and it's like we're sticking to the agreement. This is going to be our last project together, and we're both going to have to agree. Yes, this is exactly what I wanted. This is exactly what you wanted, and we're off to the races. Uh, when the book came in, it was like, no, this is definitely not it. For one thing, it's like 220 pages, 225 pages, and one of the problems that I find with Dagan is that he always ends up giving way too much money to the printer, because what he's interested in is this perfect book that he put together. He will take less money in the interest of having a perfect book, and it's like, well, okay, I will go along with that, but I'd like it to be what I consider a perfect book, not what Dagan considers a perfect book, which is Jimi Hendrix and professional photographers are way, way, way over here in the classy end of things, and Dave Sim and Cerebus and comics are way, way over here in the kitschy end of things. So that was the situation on that one when the book came in. Now, another aspect of this is the Kickstartering. That he was sending this to me at the end of January to be kickstarted in the middle of February, and it's like, no, that's not how this works. I finally got through to David Birdsong on it. That he would say, what about scheduling this, or can we do this Cerebus in Hell with a question mark after this Cerebus in Hell with a question mark, and it's no, we don't do it that way. When I have a proof copy, and I've gone through the proof copy, and I've corrected the proof copy, and said, okay, yes, this is the final proof. There are no further corrections on this project. Then it gets kickstarted. So what happened was, at the same time that the 1982 tour book came in, Alfonso was doing his Spanish Cerebus Kickstarter, and I had approved Cerebus #1 in Spanish and Spawn 10 in Spanish. David Birdsong had gotten done Cerebus in Jail with a question mark, and The Pun Issuer, his two issues, and I had gone through those and approved those, made a couple of corrections on typos, and that was going to be a Kickstarter along with issues 2 and 3 of Ninja High School Cerebus. Uh, I was almost done Ninja High School Cerebus. I didn't have the 2 covers for 2 and 3. I had figured out the inside front cover, inside back cover of number 2, and had a rough idea of what I wanted on inside back cover, inside front cover on number 3. At which point we're ready to go. But we're not quite through the goal line, but we are ready to go with this 4 comic book Kickstarter. And at that point, it was, well, okay, I really, really wanted, particularly the 2 Ninja High School Cerebus issues to be in the January Kickstarter, starting 3rd week in January. We're not right there. Alfonso is right there. All of his stuff has been approved. He's got the Kickstarter site developed. So as much as I would like to say, well, no, we're close enough to being done that we're taking the January spot. You'll have to fit yourself in somewhere up ahead after our Kickstarter is done, which presumably would have been 3rd week in February. It would have been just wrapping up now. We would be getting paid. We would be printing the books ahead of time, which is one of the things that I want to be doing this time with our Kickstarter is let's just assume that we can only sell 190 of these, and let's print 200 while the Kickstarter is going on, so that the moment the Kickstarter is over and we know what everybody has ordered, they're already printed. They've already been signed and dated in terms of this is when I signed and dated them. The information has all been filled out on the back. And now Rolly just has to bag and board them and put them in the stay flats, get the postage on them, and fire them out there. And it's as you said. I appreciate your recognizing the fact that we're pretty good with our Kickstarters in terms of the fulfillment. It's I want to get better at that. I want to get to the point where before you know it, after the Kickstarter is over, suddenly, a mere 3 weeks later, here's all the stuff that I ordered. And it's like, wow, okay, that's what we're looking for. It's like that's what we're looking for as well, is the sooner we get the fulfillment done, the sooner we can say, okay, we need a 1 month gap or a month and a half gap before we do our next Kickstarter. And there's more revenue coming in, but people are also getting their books ahead of time. Now, at that point, all of a sudden, it was Alfonso's ready to do his Kickstarter, but he's still working on the Turtles 8 translation. And it's like, wait a minute. There's no Turtles 8 in this. You got approved because it's Cerebus number 1 and Spawn 10. That's why you went ahead of me and Birdsong. Turtles 8 is a huge nightmare. So long story short on that one, okay, they pulled an all-nighter. Here's the translation. It's all plugged in. Turtles 8 is also ready to go. And this is, instead of the 3rd week of January, this is now whatever it was, the 1st week of February, 2nd week of February. Rolly comes back with the quote unquote proof copies of Turtles 8, and I'm flipping through them, and I'm going, Cerebus doesn't have tone on him. And Rolly, who's like the go-between between Studio Comics Press and Aardvark Van Anaheim, says, oh, okay, on which page? And I said, on any of the pages. Cerebus does not have tone on him. And it's like, not only that, this is supposed to be the remastered Turtles 8. I can't read the credit in the front of the Spanish comic book, but it's credited to Sean Michael Robinson, so I know it's remastering. And it's like, it looks like a pile of bad photocopies. This is not remotely near remastered digital files. And Cerebus doesn't have tone on it. So it's like, okay, even in our most wildly optimistic thoughts, what is it going to take? Like for one thing, I'm saying you're probably going to have to contact Sean Robinson and say, Dave says this looks like a pile of bad photocopies. Do you want your name taken off of it? Because it says that it's remastered by you. This is not going to be a good advertisement for living the line in Mexico. So that illustrated the problem, which is this is why Kickstarters don't get scheduled until the book is done. Capital D, done. Underlined, done. 3 exclamation marks, done. There is nothing else left to do on this. Because if you don't do it that way, then you're scheduling a Kickstarter for something that isn't done and taking money from people, and then suddenly it's 4 months later and you're just getting around to finishing what it is that you're selling them. You can't do that. Well, I can't do that. I obviously, Kickstarter is full of people that do that. So that suddenly I'm in the same situation. Birdsong and I are at the goal line, almost over the goal line. Now we are over the goal line, and I have this completely useless dumpster fire of a Turtles 8, and I have a kitschy 250-page 1982 tour book, and it's like, okay, hurry up, Dave, just approve this. Just say, thumbs up, we're off to the races. It's like, no, I'm not selling people stuff that isn't done, that isn't the way it was intended, because you got your part done. It's like, if you're not the end of the process, I'm the end of the process, then you don't decide when the Kickstarter is going to be done or when it's going to be launched. It'll be launched when the book is done. It's gotten so crazy at this point that it's like, okay, Alfonso finally admitted, okay, it's not going to include Turtles 8 because this is just eating up time. It's now the end of February instead of the third week in January. I'm nowhere close to getting this done. The Spanish Kickstarter will just be Spawn 10 and Cerebus number 1. And it's like, okay, thank you. Now we are almost at the point where that Kickstarter will be going up. It would be optimistic to say now, or even next week, or even the week after that, because, like I say, Birdsong's the only one that's got the concept of you don't launch a Kickstarter until the whole thing's ready to go, and whoever is done first, they go ahead. So consequently, I've gone ahead and done Can 13 because it's like, okay, well, I wasn't going to do Can 13 in January. I was just going to do an all comics Kickstarter. But now, the earliest that you're possibly looking at this being done and being up as a Kickstarter is, a month and a half after the Spanish one goes up and finishes. So we're already talking about like May or June. So I basically did all the notes on Can 13 and sent those to Birdsong, along with all of the final corrections on Ninja High School Cerebus 2 and 3, And Birdsong is now working on that Kickstarter. Uh, he will get that done. He will get proofs done at Studio Comics Press. I'll look at them, and we will be moving to the point where it's no longer just the two Cerebus in Hell with a question mark and Ninja High School Cerebus crossover. It now includes Can 13. So I'm still pretty sure we're probably going to get it done before Alfonso gets it done. And this leads into the 1982 tour book because it's like the only way that I've been able to do this, the only way that I've been able to produce things and get them to the people who are buying them is because I prioritize what needs to be done. I'm working on end of February things because it's the end of February. Uh, at this point, either Alfonso's Spanish Kickstarter is going up first, or the Can 13 Kickstarter is going up first. But those two are the number one and number two, whichever one it is, that are going up. So those are the ones that I'm paying attention to. Those are the ones that I'm actually working on. The 1982 tour book, it's like this even isn't even in the on deck circle. This is so far away from what I wanted it to be and what I specified right from the outset that possibly I'll be working on this in July or August. I will be working on it when the next Kickstarter goes up, whether that's Birdsong's Cerebus in Hell with a question mark and Ninja High School Cerebus 2 and 3 and Can 13. Whichever one it is, that's the one that's going to be going up. At that point, then the 1982 tour book will be in the number 2 slot. When I've got the Kickstarter finished that goes up first and the Kickstarter finished that goes up second, okay, now let's look at the 1982 tour book and say, okay, here's the problems that I see here. Here's non-negotiable. This is going to have to happen. This is going to have to happen. And but I'm not going to do that 2 Kickstarters from now with the experience of how long it takes a Kickstarter, first of all, to get the material finished and lined up and ready to go, and then get the material finished and approved. So, okay, I have to take a break for repair time. I will be back momentarily. Okay, I'm back. Lesson learned out of all of this, I think, is that I have to train myself to just keep doing the can portfolios. As soon as I get one done, which is really just involves doing all the notes, that then I move on and do the next one. So having finished Can 13, pretty much at the top of my list of things to do is the notes on Can 14, Can 15, and Can 16. So that will finish the first cycle of the trade paperbacks. And the reason that I'm saying that it's a lesson learned is because I have to be always trying to get as far ahead as possible on prepping material for Kickstarters, so that the Kickstarters go in the order that they're supposed to go in, which is we're still fine tuning that. It looks like a month to a month and a half between Kickstarters. Everybody can live with it. So in order to do that, uh, if I have Can 14 ready to go, and here's the other element of it, which is David Birdsong is becoming very, very reliable in terms of producing material and uh, getting it to a finished state. Consequently, I've got the list of things that he's working on that are in progress, and I've got ones that I can work on that are in progress. I've got one done, the Trading for Beatrice, um, Cerebus in Hell with a question mark. Uh, my part on that is done. Birdsong has a cover idea, and it's like I'd really like to do the cover. Uh, nobody comes up with cover ideas like David Birdsong does, so that as soon as I look at it, I go, "Oh, I've got to do that. I got to do that." Uh, so what I'm aiming for, what we're aiming for, is um, can portfolio Kickstarters with Cerebus, Ninja High School Cerebus, and Cerebus in Hell with a question mark comics, hoping to, if not completely eliminate variant covers, to definitely marginalize them so that they're bid items at heritage auctions or extremely specialized um, value created rarities um, that you can you can do in micro publishing, and I'm certainly um, a pioneer in micro publishing. Uh, Consequently, if there's something else that comes along where somebody says, "Here, I want to do this with Aardvark van Heim," it's the same deal all the time. It's okay, finish it. Don't contact me and say, "What's the schedule on this?" or can you suggest a deadline? It's like there is no deadline. Lee Thacker, if Lee, you're actually working on Panther X, which it sounds like you are. As soon as you got 16 pages and a cover, just send them to Studio Comics Press, get them printed out for me, and it'll be okay. That's in the next Kickstarter. It's done, capital D done, underline done, three exclamation marks done. So if I'm working on something and I've still got 3 or 4 pages left to go, or I haven't finished the cover, or the cover hasn't been colored, uh, that gets bumped by Lee Thacker's Panther X because his is done and mine isn't. So that's the long and the short of where we are with the thinking on the Kickstarters and the 1982 tour book and the Cerebus in España Kickstarter. It all centers on when it's done and it's finished and it's ready to be printed, then it gets Kickstarted, but not before. And I don't look at things that the earliest I could possibly have to have this finished is June or July. Well, I'm not going to look at it in February. I'm not going to look at it in March. I'm not going to look at it in April. I'm not going to look at it in May. It's no. Maybe by the end of May I will be going, okay, time to actually look at this because I've got, this Kickstarter's up and running. This Kickstarter's ready to go. Now I can spend some time on this. But the 1982 tour book at best is number 3 in line in Kickstarters, where the Kickstarters are measured in at least 2 or 3 months. That's when we do them. When me and Alfonso and Rolly are doing the fulfillment. you're talking 2 or 3 months. Anybody else does the fulfillment, you know, you pick a guess. When do you think this is actually going to finish? It started way back in February, and we're just getting the last copies out to people in October. It's like doesn't work like that. So there you go. That's the best I can do on trying to explain it again, and I hope people understand that I'm not being a tyrant, and I'm not being um, too picky or whatever it is that I'm being accused of on the 1982 tour book. Uh, it's not a February thing, which is why I didn't work on it this month, and it's not a March thing, which is why I'm not working on it next month. Uh, it was a concession on my part to say, okay, I'll put in an hour on it, um, a month, because I don't have time. I'm doing Strange Death of Alex Raymond and the Ninja High School Cerebus crossover and your weekly updates and Please Hold for Dave Sim, etc., etc., etc. I'm turning 70 this year. It's like Grandpa's only got so much time and so much energy to do stuff. But if it's going to really upset people that I don't work on the 1982 tour book right now because their part is done, it's like, well, that's the best I can do is say I will try and squeeze another hour out of the month of March or the month of April. I already decided that starts after the number one Kickstarter goes up, whatever that is. And when the number two Kickstarter moves up to number one, then it's like, okay, now I will start doing, an hour's worth of work a month on the 1982 tour book. But that's all I'm going to do. I mean, with the 1982 tour book, I'm looking at, okay, I've tried to get classy across to Dagan James, which is ridiculous because everything that he does is classy, except his Cerebus stuff. And so now it's like, well, okay, minimum, I have to completely redesign the book. I have to say, okay, this is what I think of as classy. I don't think what you've done here is classy. I think what you've done is kitschy, and that's if this is the last project we're doing together. However long it takes and how much time I have to put in, it's not going to be kitschy. It's going to be classy. So there you go. That brings us to page 40 of Please Hold for Dave Sim. Now we go back to page 1.